Welcome back to the Behind the Belt podcast. My name's Logan Brown. I'm here with Faraz Hashmeet, and I know, new host, Ben can't be with us today. I'm the technical producer every single time I've gotten a shout out on the show, and finally I'm here. I get to talk wrestling.
It's good to have you here, Logan.
Thank you so much. I have been wanting to do this for so long, being behind all the technical stuff and seeing you guys talk. The whole time I'm like, I want in. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Faraz.
Good to have you here, and can't wait for your input on a lot of things that has taken place since episode 2, I guess.
I know. We've been slacking, but we're here now.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh my God, Faraz, has a lot happened.
A lot.
Honestly, I know I want to start on Saturday Night Main Event. There was so much that happened, both good and bad. I'm going to tee it up for you. Can you walk us through the card? And then I know I am going to go on some rants. So without further ado, let's start it off.
So we had the biggest news from Saturday night's main event was Seth Rollins' injury against the match with LA Knight. That match was going well. Seth was doing his thing. And then off the ropes, he was trying to hit a moonsault, and he hurt his knee again. Not the first time. And what we have heard is not a good news. He's out for a long time.
Yeah. My initial reaction when I saw this was, first of all, I think it's a terrible situation, really hard to deal with in real time. One of the more tough ways that I've seen them deal with an injury. Like you said, Seth does the moonsault. He seems like he lands awkwardly, and then he immediately crawls right to the corner. You see him talking to Paul. You see him talking to the referee. The referee is doing a little switch thing. I'm seeing some stuff online that people said like it looked like a fake switch or whatever, but then immediately you see the doctor come into frame. I don't know exactly how long the injury portion of this match took place. It seemed to be around a minute or two.
Yeah.
And then he just stands up, takes a BFT, and the match is over.
It's over, yeah.
One of the worst ways that I've seen a match end in some time. It was extremely frustrating. But I think one of the reasons why it was so frustrating for me for us was the fact that the way that it ended and knowing what was coming up next, and we'll get there, but knowing what was coming up next, you could just tell that everything was in shambles. They've got one match left after this match, and the way that this match ended was so frustrating. Like, again, like, to just pan away, we're kind of wondering what's going on, and then he stands up and just takes a BFT, LA Knight, throws it up, and it's done. The match was over before it even got started.
I think you covered pretty much everything. I think you're spot on. I think LA Knight hitting Seth Rollins with a BFT just kind of confirmed that it was an actual injury, because the match doesn't end like that. You didn't see the doctor's X sign, because from what I've read is the doctors aren't usually there in the corner, but that doctor was already there before the match, which is why they didn't throw the X sign. But a lot changed. I think there was plans for Roman Reigns coming out as well, from what I've read. Yeah. And then I think he was there Raw after that main event, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So a lot changed. The whole faction thingy with Seth winning the briefcase. He still has a year to cash in, so he's probably going to be back by then. But what's next for the faction? Braun, Bronson, Paul Heyman.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely fast forwards, I think, their plan for that faction. Where I think it's not as big of an issue is I think they already kind of had a plan in place, and this just moves that plan in place forward. I think a lot of fans, including ourselves, were thinking that this faction was going to lead to a Braun Breaker push, mega push. And again, I think this just fast forwards that. How they handle this, I know we talked about it. It'd be really cool if they like redid something with the Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank,
and that opens up a lot of possibilities for when Seth come back, being like he never lost the Money in the Bank. And again, we can get to that later on down the line. We love kind of talking these hypotheticals. But one of the things that again was in the back of my mind was that when this happened is, well, we've got that main event next, and it seemed like a lot of what happened in that match between LA Knight and Seth Rollins very much had an impact on what was going to happen in the main event. And I'll let you cue it up because I got a lot to say about this, but I'll let you cue up the main event and we'll go from there.
So obviously Seth Rollins and LA Knight ended much quicker than it was supposed to because of Seth Rollins' injury. And you could see WWE showing a lot of replays just trying to kill time.
Yeah.
So the main event is not as long because we already know it was Goldberg in his last match against Gunther.
Yep.
And from what we've seen, the lead up to that fight, Goldberg didn't really look in a great shape to wrestle. And I know you have a lot to say about that and that match. So I'll let you take over. Goldberg-Gunther retirement match.
So before I go into that match very specifically, I just want to say the very first thing that went through my mind when Seth got injured was, oh no, you're going to have Goldberg fill time. If that is not worst case scenario for a company who normally has a lot or everything under control except for little things here and there like injuries, that could not have gone any worse. And I think that was reflected from the things that we saw Goldberg after the fact. And again, we will get to that. But oh my, this match was not great.
It wasn't.
It was a lot of Goldberg no-selling, which got a lot of flack online. And to be fair, I think arguably, whether I love him or hate him, Gunther is one of the best technical wrestlers and one of the best wrestlers who puts on a good wrestling match currently within WWE. Every single time. When you pair him with the Damian Priest, the Sheamus, Drew McIntyre,
he had a great match with Randy last year.
Exactly. Every single time he puts on a great match. And you could see this match was so unorganized. And when I say unorganized, I don't mean the fact that it was a terrible match. But you could, as a viewer, there needs to be that little bit of kayfabe there, you know, that I don't want to be able to see in real time the match unfolding, them talking to each other, and you know, and that's what I saw going into this match. And again, that was very much due to the fact, or in my opinion, due to the fact that event before went so short. I'm sure you'll be able to correct me if I'm wrong on this stat, but I believe that was one of Goldberg's longest matches in about, what was it, 15 or 20 years?
20 years.
20 years. His previous match before this was like 3 to 5 years prior.
Yep.
Right? And how long was that match for us?
Like 5 minutes.
I think it was either 5 minutes or less.
Probably 3 minutes.
Did he not have a squash match as well that might have been even shorter?
It was Brock Lesnar.
Right?
Yep.
And that was less than a minute?
That was less than a minute, yes.
So, again, what are we doing?
Yep.
What are we doing? This is not the WWE's fault in the sense of it is very hard to plan for injuries, right? That is not something that you take into account. But to not have a backup or a plan B for a man's retirement fight where you're going to send him off and give him all of his flowers, and now he's got to fill time. He gets cut off at the end.
Yep.
Like, again, this was handled so poorly. And I'm not here to criticize the WWE because, again, I think it was a terrible, terrible position to be in.
Yeah.
But it was, I think, at the very minimum, a learning experience on what we're going to do next time, right?
Yep. We talked about him getting cut off from his retirement speech.
Yeah.
And we saw online Goldberg had something to say about that as well.
Yeah.
He said if it was somebody else, they wouldn't have done that, but it was him. That's why they cut the promo off. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's very easy to say from Goldberg's perspective, and I understand where he's coming from. One of the things that I think we need to remember, and I believe we saw, was Michael Cole was standing right next to him, and he was telling him, I heard 40 seconds. Yeah. So you were, unfortunately, this show was on television. And when you are on television, like we're learning for us in our program, you only have so much time. And when that time ends, it does not matter who or what is going on. That has to end. You have to move on to the next thing. So I think where Goldberg's frustration is not the fact that he got cut off, but the fact that he was not put in a position where he was able to say everything that he wanted to say. And what I mean by that is put on a SummerSlam, put on a pay-per-view where this is going on Netflix here in Canada, or and is going to have more time on other platforms worldwide. Saturday Night Main Event is the only TV platform that they have right now, at least here in Canada. I know in the States it's different. But again, he was put in a position where if anything happens, that was going to be the result. It does not matter if you're retiring, who you are, or what's going on. You are going to get cut off if there is no time.
Well, Logan, that was Goldberg and his retirement match. We also had Drew McIntyre fight Randy Orton, and Randy defeated Drew. But after the match, we saw Logan Paul and Jelly Roll getting involved. Drew McIntyre eventually Claymore kicking Jelly Roll in the face, and now for SummerSlam we have Jelly Roll and Randy Orton fighting Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Is that match justified for a SummerSlam card?
It's interesting that the way that you phrase that question, Faraz, because is that match justified? I'm going to say yes. And I know that's because what I'm going to say after is going to not be in line with that. But what I mean by that is this is WWE's first year at doing a 2-night SummerSlam. I think we're going to see matches like this. They are going to have to fill time, and they are going to have to sell tickets. And who better in pop culture right now than a story like Jelly Roll, who is on his weight loss journey and is selling tickets globally. Where is SummerSlam being held?
I'm pretty sure it's Cleveland, or it's next year's Cleveland.
Okay.
I gotta check. I'm not sure. It's in MetLife Stadium, right? Because they've showed MetLife Stadium a lot, and I might have to look that up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you could look that up, and the reason why I say that, and the reason why I say it's justified, is because when you're doing something for the first time and you are having to sell tickets and fill a platform that you maybe haven't done before, I get why this match was made. Now.
Yeah, SummerSlam is in New Jersey, MetLife Stadium.
Okay, New Jersey. It doesn't really back my point as much. I was going to say if it was somewhere that is a proven, and I'm not a Jelly Roll fan, so I cannot speak to this too much, but if it's a place where it's like a proven, like it's a place where Jelly Roll's from, then again, makes a little bit more sense. But I hate this match. I hate this match more than I hated the ending of more than I hated the ending of the Seth Rollins and LA Knight just stand up, BFT, 1, 2, 3, we're done. This match is terrible. This match is a prime example of the WWE trying to cross-promote between certain fans of other platforms and trying to bring that into the WWE scene. And hey, that's how you bring new eyes onto the product. And I think us here are more than happy to help build a brand and build an audience. But as a fan of the product, when we see bad product being sold to us as something that is good, we are going to get upset. And I think that is exactly what's happening here.
From my point of view, what made me upset with this whole match is like just to induct a celebrity at a big event like SummerSlam, which is fine. But if it's someone like Logan Paul who knows how to wrestle, who's athletic, no disrespect to Jelly Roll, but we haven't seen him fight at all. nowhere.
Well, we did. We
And-
saw him fight on we chokeslam Logan Paul on Jimmy Kimmel or whatever it was, and again, that was terrible. That was
It was
bad.
awful. And from what made me upset is you're wasting legends like Randy Orton, future Hall of Famers like Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Two great talents.
Yeah.
Two guys fans love.
Yeah.
And I could have rather have Drew versus Randy one-on-one match, maybe a street fight, maybe a no holds barred, a match like that. I don't really want to see a tag match with Jelly Roll and Logan Paul and Randy and Drew. It's a disaster.
Now, the one thing I think of a way to save this and make it go from a match that I just hate so much to just this might be the WWE absolutely cooking. What happens if something happens to Jelly Roll and now all of a sudden he can't wrestle? And now you have
Mystery partner.
a mystery. I don't know. Last time Randy Orton was involved in a match and there was a mystery guest. Somebody said his name and he appeared.
He appeared.
I don't know. Wouldn't that be a little something, goes from WrestleMania to tag partner? I don't know. Again, that could make me go from going, what are we doing, to just like, again, hand up, I was wrong. Every single time that I criticize the WWE, for the most part, they come out and they say, Logan, shush. We got this.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. It makes sense, too, because he fought Randy Orton in WrestleMania. Randy and him shared a good handshake after the match.
Yep.
Randy respected him. He obviously respects Randy. Yeah, I mean, it's like what I'm saying is instead of just putting Jelly Roll in that match, why can't you just put Joe Hendry from get-go?
Yeah, and that would be rewarding Joe Hendry from, again, there was a lot of talk about, well, it was relatively a squash match between Randy Orton and Joe Hendry, but Joe Hendry got his flowers because he did exactly what he needed to do. It helped heighten him. What better way than rewarding Joe Hendry than putting him in a match as a tag partner with Randy Orton against proven guys who are great in the ring and Drew McIntyre. And again, say what you will about Logan Paul, but when he has a lot of practice and he shows up to show out, he delivers. Now, when he doesn't rehearse too much and he has a match with Randy or with Rey Mysterio on a random SmackDown, we don't know. He starts to get exposed a little bit. But again, I think this is a position for a wrestler like Logan Paul to shine. And again, an idea like we just shared can take this match from going to a match that people are going like, what the heck? Like, I could see them totally riding with this up until the day of, and then during the pay-per-view, like, something happens to Jelly Roll, and then it's like, well,
That'd be cool.
Who, constantly, they're just saying, who would it be? Who? And then,
And here's the music.
boom.
Yep. It would be sick.
That would be amazing. This is being recorded. This is on wax. I chefed that up right here. If that comes true, we can go back to.
And Logan is a big Joe Hendry fan.
I was gonna wear my Joe Hendry shirt today, but I wore it early in the week and it's dirty, and I got really upset that I didn't have that. But I do have the Joe Hendry WrestleMania shirt. Joe Hendry is the best.
Logan pivoting to the next day, Evolution. So a match took place at Saturday night's main event between Naomi and Jade Cargill. Or it was between someone else, I think, but Naomi and Jade Cargill got involved in a brawl. And then we saw Adam Pearce, I think, announcing Naomi, Jade Cargill at Evolution with Bianca Belair as a special guest referee.
Who's currently injured.
Who is injured, So Evolution, I feel like, just from my perspective, was a really, really good pay-per-view, or PLE, that's what they call it now, compared to Saturday night's main event, which was disaster from Seth's injury to Goldberg and everything that we already discussed. Naomi versus Jade Cargill, I think no holds barred, I think was a banger of a match.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Just of that match or just overall?
That match, and then we'll lead up to what happened at the end as well.
Yeah, I mean, So I just want to share my general thought. I unfortunately didn't get to watch that match.
Okay.
I turned on Evolution a little bit later, but we did have a discussion before Evolution, and
Yeah.
I was highly critical of this. Not critical because it was an all-women's card. I was critical because, in my opinion, I did not think that the main roster of WWE, of women's WWE, is strong enough to propel a PLE.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I think, especially like I don't love what they're doing with Charlotte Flair, like and stuff, and ever since she's been back, not just the stuff she's doing right now. I just feel personally like the women's division is weaker than it has been. Now we are seeing growth in certain stars, but I feel like a lot of that comes post-evolution. Pre-evolution, I was very concerned. I was not concerned leaving that pay-per-view for us or that PLE. I'm a UFC guy. I call things pay-per-views all the time, but I will get a hang of it. Again, going into this PLE, I was like, who is this for? Obviously, it's for a lot of nostalgia because there was a lot of divas in attendance that we grew up watching, which helped kind of pave the way for Evolution to be able to happen. Maybe I'm getting a little bit too much about it overall. What was your thoughts of kind of the beginning of the Evolution and some of the highlights of those matches?
I think, like you said, a bit of nostalgia. Stephanie McMahon opening the show like she did the first one.
Yep.
She is, I think, the one who started Evolution.
Sure.
The first pay-per-view which took place in 2018, if I'm not wrong. I think she was the reason it took place. And then she's the one who started off the second one. And we saw Vicky Guerrero in the crowd with her "Excuse Me" and all that. We saw Trish Stratus fighting.
Yep.
Nikki Bella was in the Battle Royale.
Absolutely.
The Battle Royale, I feel like a lot of NXT talents shined up. Lash Legend got a big push. He was the final three at the end.
Yep.
And then the winner of the Battle Royale, who's going to fight for the championship at Clash in Paris, Stephanie Vaquer. What a rise. Since the call up to the main roster, I think me and Logan agree on this. She has it all.
Yeah, I think when you look at her rise, the closest thing that you can comparison in terms of anything remotely like that would be Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton hit main roster and just immediately got propelled to who she is now, WWE Women's Champion, right? And I think, personally, I think Stephanie Vaquer's on a even bigger rise right now.
I agree.
Her English is getting better, which is phenomenal. But the fact that, especially with the acquisition of AAA, right, is this resurgence of luchador wrestling and bringing in those fans can only help build Stephanie Vaquer. She's extremely talented. I know we're not there yet, but her match with Io Sky on Monday Night Raw was phenomenal. And we know Io Sky's great, but how good is the opponent? And a lot of the time, Io does a really good job at elevating her opponent, but Stephanie was tit for tat right there. A lot of the transitions that they had were great. Those different pins that I've never seen before. That's exactly what I want to see out of up and coming wrestlers. The stuff that I haven't seen before.
I think what elevates her, it's like how she carries herself, the entrance, the in-ring performance, even with English not being her first language, she gives those one-liners and stuff which are really, really good. Like, English is not my first language, but wrestling is. She dropped that at Evolution. I thought it was pretty cold. And then WWE brought her and Julia in NXT together, one from Japan, and she's, I think, the only South American wrestler to ever step foot in a WWE ring.
No way.
I'm pretty sure about it. She is the only South American wrestler.
And she's representing. She's doing a great job. If that's true, she is doing an incredible job representing.
And no matter you put her in the ring with already established stars like Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, Becky, anyone, the crowd loves her a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, and again, in touching upon, I want to go back to Evolution because I think, again, I was highly critical at the beginning, and again, in WWE, we trust. You know, I'll say it again. I was highly critical, and I left thinking that was probably, in my opinion, one of their better PLEs of the year. It did exactly what it needed to do. It built stars out of talent that was not stars prior. The Battle Royale was phenomenal. Having Lola Vice go a little bit further. I said I'm an MMA guy. I've been following Lola Vice's career since she was in Bellator. Wasn't a great career, but you know, she's went from that to had never wrestled, and now she's wrestling consistently week after week. She's part of some of these bigger storylines that are going in NXT. And you and I were talking prior. I think one of the things that Evolution did was help build these up and coming talents in NXT and really makes people like ourselves who are very into WWE but maybe don't watch NXT going, man, maybe I really should be watching NXT week after week. Because, again, without having even a single male talent on that show, they did an incredible job lifting that locker room, and I think it's only going to continue.
So, ending the Evolution talk with one last thing.
Yeah.
We talked about Naomi and Jade Cargill, but Naomi didn't just stop there. Evolution ended with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky's main event, but Naomi coming out, cashing in her briefcase,
absolutely,
and winning the Women's World Heavyweight Championship.
Did you see this coming for us?
I didn't.
I didn't see it coming either.
Yeah, it was too early. I thought it was too early, but I think it was the right time too.
Absolutely.
She's just putting on great matches.
Yep.
I know maybe her promo game isn't on that level, but I think since she turned heel, she's doing a great job with this whole no caution character that she's playing. It's amazing.
Yeah, I found her her heel turn head scratching. Not head scratching in the fact of why she turned. I think the story to get her to turn was totally fine. The whole kind of crazy Naomi, I didn't really get, and maybe it was just I just wasn't following it closely or whatever it is. But that being said, I didn't see this coming either. And I think that comes off of, one, last year's Money in the Bank winner in Tiffany Stratton. She held on to that for a really long time. And again, like, it just going into Evolution, I didn't really have too much expectations. And I think that what happens a lot of the time is when you don't have those expectations, it turns out to be a lot better than you expect. I think a prime example of that is we had high expectations for Saturday Night Main Event, and it sucked. Did it actually suck? I don't know. Again, we just had high expectations for it. That match between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky was phenomenal. Any match with Io Sky, like, to be perfectly honest, I think Io Sky, if she could be great on the microphone, she would be definitively my favorite female wrestler. Yeah. I think wrestlers who put on a show in the ring and aren't just everything outside the ring really, really kind of elevate WWE. But yeah, Io Sky, I think, is phenomenal. That match she had with Rhea, I think they always put on amazing matches. And the way that match was going until it wasn't was incredible. Like, I was solely convinced that like, going into it, I was like, I don't think Rhea wins. And then they had me in that match being like, oh, I think Rhea might do this. And then the moment that I was like, oh my God, Rhea's going to do it, out comes Naomi.
Usually what happens is with the cash-ins, the match is already over, and then the Money in the Bank winner comes out, and then they already just attack someone who's already fought like for a good 20-30 minutes, and then they just grab the title. This one kind of reminded me of Seth's cash-in at WrestleMania during the match. Or
even, for me, it reminded me of Drew McIntyre because it was a triple threat when he cashed in to make it a triple threat, and immediately when I think triple threat, I go, okay, who's going to get involved, who's going to screw over who, because now you just made a match that was no DQ, or no, sorry, you could get DQ'd, is now a no DQ, right? And I think the way they handled it was perfect.
So I want to move on from this week, the weekend we talked about Saturday Night Main Event and Evolution in detail.
So much has happened.
So much has happened. We even, since our last episode, Night of Champions also took place.
Yeah.
Where we saw the debut of Tala Tonga.
Holy
and
moly.
the return of Tonga Loa. And Solo winning the U.S. Championship. So I want to talk about this group now.
Yeah.
So firstly, they're not called the Bloodline anymore.
Nope.
They're called either the MFTs or Solo's MFTs, from what I've heard from the announcers. I like this for Solo. It's something I talked about with Ben in the last podcast. They just keep finding ways to keep the Bloodline storyline alive.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's never dead.
Without calling it the Bloodline storyline too, right? Like it's like it's still going. It's like that last ember in the flame, or you know, people are still fanning it, but it's like if you take that ember out of that flame, is it still part of that fire? I don't know if that's an analogy. I just made that up, but.
So, what are your thoughts on Tala Tonga joining the MFT group, with Tonga Loa also returning, and then Jacob completely turning to a baby face now, with Jimmy Uso by his side? So they've been feuding since Night of Champions now.
Man, I wish I could roll my R's. You know what I mean? I can't do it, but you know, Tonga, not Tola?
It's Tonga Loa.
Tonga Loa?
Who returned, who is Tama Tonga's brother.
Yes.
And then their other brother, Tonga Loa. Tala Tonga.
Tala Tonga. Okay,
I knew it was
confused. I knew it was with an L. I was like,
too many Tongans, too many of them. So we're also confused. So it's Tala Tonga, the tall guy who returned, formerly known as Hikuleo in New Japan.
Sure.
He joined Solo's group, and Tonga Loa, who is brother of Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga, also returned.
Yeah. I think it's great that they have a big man. I think any good faction needs that good big man, and he seems like he's a big man who's relatively active, like can move pretty good. But then they also have JC Mateo. That's not what they're calling him, right?
They're calling him that.
Okay,
his
JC.
Former name was Jeff Cobb.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't mess it up. So, but okay, in trying to not mess it up, I said the right thing, thinking I was messing it up. We already know, like, he's almost a small big man in the way that he wrestles. And I mean, we'll see about Tonga Loa. He's not had a very good track record in WWE so far in terms of quality matches. I would say he probably has more botches than quality matches, I would say. But hey, you know what? Like, he had time off. Mm-hmm. That could have included, hey, like, let's also get your wrestling to a good spot if we're gonna have a decent run with this crew. Overall, I'm really excited about it. I think there's a lot of ways that you can go. I think the thing that I like the most of it is, I think this is the version of Solo that I like the most. Yeah. Where he's being silly. But like, he's being silly mean, you know, where it's like, you can be mean if it's funny. And
also his first title in WWE. Yeah.
Really?
In the main roster. He was an NXT North American champion.
Okay.
But in the main roster, this is his first title. Yeah.
Well, and the thing I love about that is him winning his first title off of Fatu kind of raises both of them. Yeah. And with them being family members, like, it's like, that's behind the scenes. There's probably that thing where it's like, you know, there was always that dream of like, hey, we can do this, and they're doing it, which is, I think that's really cool.
I don't know about you, Logan. For me, this is the most exciting match. SummerSlam, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa inside the steel cage. Right now, the numbers advantage is with Solo's group. It's 4v2. But we can possibly see maybe Tama Tonga return. Because Tama Tonga will most likely align with Jacob. Because at Survivor Series last year, Tonga Loa got injured. And Tama was there. And Solo was gone.
Yeah.
It was just Jacob and Tama Tonga for a few weeks. So they have that bond. I'm pretty sure Tama Tonga returns. He's going to join Jacob Fatu. And will we see Zilla Fatu finally in WWE? He was there last weekend in TNA.
Yeah. Well, did you see he was at Raw
he
in
was
the crowd?
In the crowd, yeah.
Acknowledging our tribal chief.
Tribal chief.
So, I mean, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I think I'm really on the fence about that because one, and we were kind of talking about this earlier, there was that clip where he's waiting in line to meet Randy Orton or something. Yeah. Randy Orton immediately recognizes him. It was a nice moment between those two. But one of the things that he says is, oh, well, like, I'm just kind of starting now. Like, I'm just kind of starting my training now. And this was not too long ago.
Not too long ago, yeah.
And if there's one thing I know about WWE is they like to, they don't want talent coming in that's not ready. And if he's not ready, then I don't know. But he's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's everywhere. And it just makes so much sense story-wise for him to join. Yeah. It seems like that's the way that we're going right now. So as much as I'm unsure because it was a candid video, didn't seem like it was scripted. It was very much an interaction where, you know, they're both kind of just running into each other and we got to be a fly on the wall during that interaction. But I don't know. What do you think?
Like for me, it makes most sense to bring him and align with Jacob Fatu because they fought together in the Indies as the Fatus or something.
Yeah.
He is part of the actual bloodline in real life, Umaga's son. I think, because who else would it be? Because you have to make it 4v4.
Yes.
And one guy's Tama Tonga. We already know Jay is doing something else right now. We'll come to that later on.
Yep.
But if it's not Jay, if Jimmy is with Jacob, it has to be Zilla Fatu. For me, that's the one that makes most sense. Yes, it's different with him because he hasn't been in the Performance Center and stuff. Like, Hikuleo was, I think, in the Performance Center for the past few months. They signed him like 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay.
And he just showed up now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you'll see what happens with that. Something else that we want to talk about is CM Punk.
Look in my eyes. All right, I'm not going to do it.
What do you see? The best theme song of all time.
So great.
CM Punk is finally having another title shot, this time against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Is it the time you put the title on CM Punk since his return in WWE?
Let me follow up that question with another question. I'll explain my answer. Are they doing Crown Jewel this year?
I haven't heard about it.
The reason why I asked that question is, how cool would it be for John Cena versus CM Punk, both champions, at Crown Jewel for the Crown Jewel Championship, just like they did last year with Cody Rhodes. Now, they said it was going to be a one-time thing. I don't know. And we just saw CM Punk and Cena, right? So, and it was a great kind of ending for them. They had faced each other, I think, they both had 6 wins. Yeah. So, you know, it ended the way it did. Do I think, back to your original question, do I think that this is the time? It's tough. It's tough because I think if there's going to be a title that you put on CM Punk, it's the heavyweight championship. It's that one.
It's
right?
that one, yeah.
I don't think, given everything that's going on with the WWE Universal Championship, or whatever they're calling it now, I can never, they're always switching it up. And like, Paul Heyman called it something different one time, and I was like, Paul, how are you calling it something different? Like, anyways, everybody gets it. I don't see him going for a run on that. And additionally, given the fact that, in our opinion, Saturday Night Main Event, something was supposed to happen that didn't. Yeah. I think SummerSlam is the perfect opportunity to have Gunther drop the belt because, and again, like, I don't love how he gained the belt.
Yeah.
He lost the belt at WrestleMania to Jay, gets it back on Raw?
Yeah.
On a random Raw in the same way that he won the belt. It felt like a kind of a nothing run for Jay, even though it wasn't a nothing run. Post hindsight 2020, it feels like it. I just think this is the time that you would do it. I'm not confident that they will. given the fact that it is Gunther, and Gunther is shown that he holds titles for a very long time, and when he loses them, he gets them back pretty quickly. But what do you think?
I think this is the right time.
Yeah.
To put the title on CM Punk. I think the fans want it. I think he wants it. I think everybody wants it.
Yeah.
He returned in November 2023. It's been almost 2 years. He fought John Cena last month for the WWE title in Night of Champions. They put on a great match, great chemistry.
Absolutely.
But we knew Cena would probably retain. This time around, I'm still not sure. Will they do it? But being a big CM Punk fan, I just want him to win the title for like at least, if it's, I don't know how long he has in him, but everybody wants CM Punk to win the title. And we know he's going to be great champion. Like
Absolutely.
his promos, everything. He's going to carry that belt. He's going to put Raw where it should be.
And not to cut you off, but if he holds that title to WrestleMania and Seth still has that money in the bank, like, it just does, the story writes itself at that point. Like, I know we've seen that feud how many times, but there's a reason why they keep running it back, is because it's authentic and it is good, right?
It is.
And how much better of a rivalry to come to an end, you know, whatever, if it is the end, or that feels like a storybook moment, especially at WrestleMania, than Seth winning his title. Like, in my eyes, when I think of that title, that version of that title, I think of Seth Rollins. He is the one who brought that title and elevated that title to the level that it is now. And I think him winning it back after everything that's gone on, again, is just a story that writes itself.
It would be great.
Yep.
I think when Punk returned last year at WrestleMania, that's the match he wanted for the world title.
Oh, yeah.
At that time, Seth was a champion. So it would be ironic. I mean, Punk being champion, Seth coming off an injury, and then them going one-on-one for the world heavyweight title.
Sorry, one of our lights just went out. It's just like, luckily we're good here.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we'll move on to another big guy who's back. Roman Reigns returned, the only tribal chief. OTC1, that's what they call him. It's on the t-shirt now.
Are you a shoe, dude? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? That's a terrible name.
OTC1.
I
don't know.
I still think back to that one show where they tried to do YTC. Like,
So he returned on Raw last Monday.
Yeah.
Last week on Monday Night Raw. Came out after the gauntlet match, after Punk won.
Yep.
After he was being attacked by Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Jey Uso also came out. And then the music hit. OTC came out with a new t-shirt and everything.
Yep.
He picked up Jey. He didn't really pick up Punk. They had a little stare down. But it is official now. Jey Uso, Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed at SummerSlam. There's one thing they're not really announcing this time around is which match is on night one, which match is on night two. I'm a bit confused about that, but what do you think about the match? Will it main event night one? Because night two, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Cody and Cena.
Will it main event? When we ask that question, we say, is that match bigger than CM Punk and Gunther? And I would say, yeah. I think CM Punk and Gunther has opening one of those days written all over it, probably night one. Does it main event? I would say, as it stands right now, for everything that we have, I think it does. I think you owe that to Roman Reigns. He is a main eventer, and especially, you know, how can you have a main event without main event Jimmy Uso, right? Like, and I think Jey Uso. Sorry, Jey Uso. In addition, it does exactly what we talked about earlier in elevating Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, right? Especially Braun Breaker. I think that match has Braun Breaker being semi-dominant written all over it, and it could be one of those matches that relatively feels passing of the torch, right? Yeah. Elevating Jey Uso, right? In being in a match like that. Yeah. And then also bringing Braun Strowman and not Braun Strowman.
Braun Breaker.
I knew I was going to do that at one point. I was 100% sure. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, to the point where they're going to continue to elevate those two. I think it's easy to just slap the tag team titles on them, which I think they're going to do at one point. Braun Breaker will probably have another belt on him at some point as well, in addition. But what are your thoughts?
I think Braun Breaker is going to get a serious push now.
Yes.
Since Seth Rollins' injury, you saw it last night on Monday, on 2 nights ago on Monday Night Raw. During the promo, Roman was there, but Bronson Reed was kind of in the back. It was mainly Braun Breaker.
Yep.
And I think this match is going to lead up to Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns, just a one-on-one match, maybe at Clash in Paris or any other PLE this year. But I think it's going to be a good match. Braun Breaker is great. Roman Reigns is great.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns just makes the whole company so much better when he's around.
Absolutely. And I think I saw a thing like he's planning to be on TV almost every week.
Yeah, I read about that too. Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say leading into SummerSlam, that's like 2 weeks away. But then after SummerSlam as well, right? And I mean, hey, WWE is better with Roman Reigns.
Definitely is.
When he's showing up every week, when we've got Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, John Cena, CM Punk,
Cody Rhodes,
like, I mean, we could keep going, but like again, like WWE is in such a great spot when they're utilizing the talent properly. But again, and that's just nostalgia. And then you go to the guys who are just so great in ring, like we talked about Gunther, like we talked about Jey Uso, like we talked about Seth Rollins when he's not injured, and Drew McIntyre, right? Yeah.
I think we'll wait for that match and we'll see how that goes in SummerSlam. But I want to end the show with John Cena, Cody Rhodes, SummerSlam, most likely night 2 main event.
Yeah.
It's a street fight. The biggest question, and we've seen a little hints from Cody Rhodes as well, wearing the Rock's glasses, the watch. Will the final boss return at SummerSlam?
I think so. I think they realized where the miss was at WrestleMania, and this is the opportunity to right that wrong, given the fact that we're running back the match.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy that they're doing it. I feel like it's a little early to be doing it, given the fact that your biggest pay-per-views or your biggest PLEs of the year are WrestleMania and are SummerSlam, and that match is happening at both.
Yeah. And
who knows, could be potentially happening at the end of the year or at WrestleMania as well. Yeah, I'm super excited for it. Do I think Rock's going to show up in terms of your question? I do think he's going to show up, again, to right that wrong. I just feel like there was so much misdirect going into Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everybody thought that's when Cody sells his soul.
Yeah.
That's when Cody turns. And we got rug pulled. And not only did we get rug pulled, we got something that I don't think anybody was expecting.
Nobody thought.
In a turn in John Cena. So it's tough because we've talked about this before. In one moment, I want to believe in the WWE. Every time they kind of walk us down this path, every time, a majority of the time, it turns out to be way better than anything that we could have expected. That being said, that wasn't the case at WrestleMania. Instead, we got Fiend playing more times than any of us wanted. I still have that playing repeatedly in my head, which is...
So done.
I talk to my therapist every week. He's like, this is how we get rid of it. And I'm like, it's not working. I'm going to build WWE for that. And again, it just a relatively unceremonious ending. You got Travis Scott coming out to the Rock's theme music. It leads up to have a sour taste in our mouth there and just be perfect at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But again, we talked about expectations, and when a lot of the time we have these expectations and they don't go our way, we get really upset. So I don't know, what are you thinking for us?
I think how WrestleMania ended, nobody really liked it.
Yeah.
Night 2 especially. Although Night 2 had great matches compared to Night 1, but the ending of Night 2 wasn't that great. I think I agree with you. I think The Rock will return. I think he has to as well. The hints are there. And those hints will lead up to my next question as well. Will there be a double turn at SummerSlam? Will Cody Rhodes turn heel? And it's halfway point at John Cena's retirement tour is just a time where you turn him back to babyface. We've seen some hints leading up to that CM Punk match in the last few weeks as well. He's listening to the crowd as well.
Yep.
He's not doing the whole belt thing again and again. He's not using the low blows.
Yep.
We might see the babyface John Cena coming back. But the biggest question is, again, is Cody Rhodes turning heel, or is WWE willing enough to turn him heel at this point of his career?
There's just so much that goes into this answer. There's so much that goes into this question. I think this is the time. I think Cody finished his story, which we all loved.
Yeah.
But once he finished his story, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best run.
It wasn't.
It wasn't terrible, but I think the lead up was better than the payoff in the the Cody Rhodes story. I think this is a perfect opportunity to take one of your biggest superstars and make him a bigger star in being somebody. He's done heel in other organizations. He's done an incredible job. I think he's already so great on the mic. I'd love to see a version of him this good being on that side. And again, there's been so many hints to it. But there were so many hints to it going into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where it's like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you, or the other way around. Fool me once, shame on you. Exactly. And I just don't want to be fooled again. But it just totally screams Cody Rhodes turning. And again, one thing that we've seen from WWE is they listen to the fans, and especially the audience. And when we saw the pushback of The Rock getting the championship against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania after Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, the outlash between fans and the WWE was immense, right? It was something that the WWE could not ignore. And I think we're at that level right now? No, because it's not outrage, but I think we are seeing that the fans are still sticking with Cena. Like, as much as they want to hate him, there's still going to be those people that go, nah, that's my childhood right there. Like, he could say anything and I'm still going to listen. And he's done such a great job on mic recently, and you're starting to see the shift with his character. Yeah. And you're starting to see a slight shift. I noticed it, I think it was at Saturday Night Main Event, and I said it. First of all, the graphics on Cody Rhodes' walkout were different. There was like a flag. It was seen dark rather than the American Nightmare, this bigger than life American. It just felt like an angry.
I think the biggest hint was on SmackDown, this past SmackDown.
Sure.
Him holding the title, hitting Cena in the face the way Cena hit at Chamber.
And Cena was bleeding.
And Cena was bleeding.
Yep.
And then the way he just jumped on him and just made Cena sign the contract was not like a babyface way. So yeah, I mean the hints are there, but it's too it's right.
Our
light's back on. I mean, it's like it's everybody's expecting it, and WWE doesn't really do that. So it's like that's the only thing that's like, I'm like, WWE wants us to believe that he's turning heel. They do, because why would Cody post pictures online with those glasses, with the watch? People are not dumb. No. They know that's The Rock's glasses, that's his watch that he gifted. So it's too much out there, I feel like. I do hope it happens, but if we see something really crazy and maybe something like we don't expect, like we did it with Cena's heel turn,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I was thinking something. I want to throw it out there. So when Cody has the contract.
Yeah.
It's like, how did he get the street match in the contract?
You're right.
Well, maybe you go to the boss,
The final
who can
boss.
pull some strings and say, because Cena can come back and say, you know what, I didn't sign that.
I like that.
They can play that, and you know what? Well, the higher up,
Yeah.
it's now out of my control.
Yeah.
And again, given everything that we said, the glasses, the watch, the post, the Saturday Night main events, the SmackDown, and his overall behavior, like I could see a run where Cody's like, you know what, like I wanted this so bad. You guys knew that I wanted this so bad, and I had this taken away from me. So you know what, I'm gonna do anything that it takes. If he was able to do in John Cena, he was able to do anything that it takes. Well, guess what? Why wasn't I as well too?
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys don't appreciate me is, X, Y, Z, and right there and again, the story's right there for us. It's just.
I think a lot of fans also want this to happen. I
Yeah.
think they're kind of tired of seeing him as a babyface now.
Yeah.
They want something different from Cody. I think we all know he can deliver. He's a great in-ring performer.
Absolutely.
The only thing is people are a bit 50-50 on his promos. Sometimes they're really good.
Yeah.
Sometimes they might be really boring.
Yeah.
But yeah, turn him heel. I want to see the black suit Cody. Whenever he's wearing the black suit, he's cutting great promos.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. You can go and watch like a couple of times where he's wore that black suit and he's cut some amazing promos. But yeah, that's that. I think that's it for this episode, Logan.
Yeah, for us, we covered so much. Again, I'm so happy we got to do this. Getting to talk WWE with you is just absolutely phenomenal. There was so much that went on. I mean, AEW had a pay-per-view that I don't think anybody should watch. Do not watch that. That is not a good example of what wrestling represents.
That's not wrestling.
That if you like that, great, go ahead and watch that. But that's not something that I think we support. We support those talents that were involved. But I think that was a little much for us. That being said, my name's Logan Brown. That was Faraz Hashmeet. That was Behind the Belt. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, see ya.
Goodbye.